Acharya Prashant is a well-known man in India, really well-known, 55, 65 million followers on YouTube alone. This man is a legend in the Indian community, and he's going to be talking about, are influencers truly helping, or are they just selling you something? And so I'm really interested to see what his perspective is on influencers, because at the end of the day, Acharya also is an influencer. He's influencing people's minds. So what is the ultimate goal for the influencer? Is it to help uplift others, or is it just to sell? And I think that's the fundamental difference between the two. But let's check out Acharya's wisdom and knowledge about influencers. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm Cody. This is my reaction series. Let's get right into it.
The influencers and activists, generally they are quite narcissistic, but they act like it's about the cause. So my question is, still they're doing something. Can someone like this still do any good for the world?
Man's default state is of narcissism. Rare is the one who is not a narcissist. Now what I'm saying is unpalatable, because it will make you question your idols, your role models. It's an interesting word, no? Influencer. Pretend that you are generous and are coming to give. He will open the doors. Followers are meant to be traded like sheep. People are meant to be sold. To me, it is a surprise that people are surprised when they see evil.
I really like that he's opening up the darkness about the influencer market. There's a lot of people out there who are only looking to take your money and not really give you anything. So he's really opening up our minds so that maybe even the people that we admire may not have the best of intentions, but live under a veil of just pure narcissism. This is very interesting.
That's what you use your influence for, no? Even a fish has to be offered some bait. So let's call that social service. Suddenly, some top leaders have become admirers of the Gita. Acharya ji, we want to learn Gita from you. So I said, you come over and learn Gita from me. He said, no, but the camera will be there, right? Maybe he wants to record it for future revision. Now you will upload that, right? I will ask you questions, you reply to me. I'm damn sure you will.
Firstly, to go over to India and learn directly from Acharya would be a privilege and an honor, because he has vast amounts of information and wisdom that he's curated over his lifetime. But you have to understand, what is the intention? What is listen, we all have to, I think selling is providing value. That's all selling is. That's all economy is. It's an exchange of value. So there's nothing wrong with selling and giving value in exchange for money. That's the type of life and society that we live in. So if you can provide extreme value, just like Acharya provides extreme value, he has many people who want to donate because of the value that he's created, the information he's given away. That's amazing, but it's the intention behind the man. And what he's doing is, he's going like, don't be surprised if someone has bigger ulterior motives than wanting to help others. You have to really find the man behind the facade. And so he's opening us to say that, like, there's a lot of sneaky people out there who look well-intentioned, but truly are deeply narcissistic. They're really just conning people into something. But anyway, back to this point, it would be amazing to fly from America to India and work with Acharya for a week. That'd be absolutely indescribable. Wouldn't need a camera, you know what I mean? But to be able to just, learn the Gita at that level would be truly inspiring.
Would have received very feeble returns on his investment. If you cannot put your idols and your deities in the dock, you'll never be liberated.
That's a huge point, guys, is even our idols are human beings. And they've orchestrated a certain framework and state of being within themselves. And so I believe in full autonomy. I believe that the deepest wisdom that you can obtain is your own sovereignty. That we look to mentors and guides for development. But at the end of the day, you have to understand that you are your own creation, your own orchestration. And you have to honor that and empower yourself through that. It's like the Jesus quote that says, be in this world, but not of this world. It's saying that you can take part in the festivities of life, but don't be owned by those festivities. Don't give away your own authority to any man out there. That's what I think that means.
Mr. Acharya ji, my name is Akshat, and uh, my question is about the influencers and activists I generally find on social media. So generally they are quite narcissistic, and it's not about the cause; it's about making them appear.
So the way this gentleman frames this question, to me, he's been disappointed in some of his idols, some of the people that he maybe worshipped or followed that turned out to be maybe misguided him. But there's something that we need to understand, the psychology of people. I like this question, and I think I'm going to enjoy this video. But I think we have to know that, like, he extrapolates that this is everyone who's, I'm technically an influencer. You know, there's anyone who does anything online is technically influencing people, influencing humanity. So when you kind of say, and I think and we can go back, but I think let's go back real quick.
And my question is about the influencers and activists I generally find on social media. So generally they are quite narcissistic.
So generally, basically saying almost all of them are narcissistic and they only think about themselves. I think that's a grotesque generalization. I think there's a percent of influencers that are purely narcissistic. Absolutely. But I feel like someone who states it like that is really over extrapolating the reality of the circumstances, that I think deep down people have good intentions. So that's my framework of reality. And there's only a few bad eggs. So I don't like this question because it really shows it's not subjective. It's biased, I believe. I think it's very biased, but it leads to a good point. It leads to a great point that there are a lot of people out there who may not have the best intentions for what they're delivering.
And it's not about the cause; it's about making them appear good and better than others. So my question is, can someone like this still do something good for the world? Uh, and I also find myself.
Please clarify. Please clarify. What is it about influencers that intrigues you?
I mean, they are
He's even questioning the question himself, which is very, very wise of AP. He's trying to stem the root cause of why this is important to him.
narcissists in the way. It's not about the cause.
Yes, they're narcissists.
And and so still, so it's not about the cause, and but they act like it's about the cause. So my question is, still they're doing something, like the action is happening. So can someone like this still do any good for the world?
I don't know how you would want to define it and name it. When somebody is delivering you medicine diluted to the extent of 90%, because his objective does not lie in delivering you the medicine. His objective lies in having the maximum possible for himself.
That's a really good way. That's a really good way of stating it. So I said intention. What's his intention? But he delivers it in a great verbiage. He says medicine. Is the medicine being delivered of highest quality and value? Is he actually giving you medicine to heal yourself? Because that's all anyone can do. Is they're just reflecting your own capability to heal within, your own capability to ease your own psychological suffering. If they're doing that, then I'd say they're well-intentioned. So is that their motive, or is it more motive to get something from you? And that's the distinction between a positive influencer and a narcissistic influencer.
I don't know whether you would call it service or exploitation.
Great way. Great words.
Not that he is not delivering you anything. Well, he is delivering you something. But delivering this something is a compulsion. so that he can appropriate almost everything. If he does not leave even 10% for you, it will become impossible for him to gobble the 90%. It depends on you how you want to name it. Service, appropriation, exploitation, fraud, nishkam karma. Depends on you. See, how can somebody exploit you without offering you something, at least? Even a fish has to be offered some bait, no? Before it is killed. So let's call that social service. Bait too costs money. The fellow is spending money for the sake of the fish. As a rule, somebody who is still insecure about his own life can hardly be of any good to others. Somebody who still is afraid about his own security has no capacity to love. If you are insecure about yourself, how are you going to love others? You can only exploit others. Your primary concern will be your own welfare, because your own internal affairs are not yet settled. So you look at others with an eye to using them.
Oh, that's a horrible shot of him. We gotta make sure AP looks good. Guys, you have to really question your intentions in your own relationships with people. We don't want to be that narcissistic person. We don't want to have those narcissistic personality traits. We all have a degree of narcissism. It's our ego, and it's built within our mainframe. And it's the thing that makes you feel special, superior than any other person. And so we have to really look into our own relationships and asking, are we exploiting our friends and trying to take advantage of them? Are we trying to keep them at a certain level so they don't supersede us? Are we selfless enough to go, my pure intention is to always make you grow and foster growth in you. And so whatever I give to you is of highest quality, of highest purity. I think that what is purity is intention. Are you exploiting your relationships? Are you benefiting your relationships and helping them grow, giving them medicine, making sure that they know exactly what they provide and offer to the world, not keeping them low and insulting them and trapping in a box and making them feel small because you have power over them? That is a narcissist. And unfortunately, we do it. Many of us play that game. We do it with our children. We do it with our employees. We do it with our friendships. We do it with our peers. We do it with our teammates. Most of us do not want people to really reach their peak. Why?
It's an interesting word, no? Influencer. You become an influencer, and then you become a carrier of deodorant ads. And stretchable shirts. That's what you use your influence for, no? Why doesn't want to become a celebrity? So that he can be used to sell things to people.
You might be able to hear my dog's toy in the background. I'm sorry, folks.
What else is your celebrityship for? Tell me, please.
Well, being a celebrity like AP, he has a lot of influence. And if his intention is of highest quality, he can change the world single-handedly. That's the power of celebrity. That's the power of high status. That's the power of being popular. But there's a lot of people who hide behind masks that are truly don't have the best interests of the collective. They have the best interests of either for themselves or for the group in which they think is superior. And there's a lot of that going on in the world. Is groups of people who find themselves superior doing things that aren't helping the common person. That's detrimental to the collective.
You aspire to be an Instagram sensation. You become one. What do you do then? What do? You start selling deodorants. Your foundation happens to have a large number at the followers figure on all social media.
As an influencer myself, this really helps me keep my own awareness in check. As you know, AP writes books. He offers different products and services, and that helps keep his messages strong, and he can keep marketing and expanding his reach. And this is a very good thing. If the product has immense value, that should be offered to the world at a price. There's nothing wrong with that. But to offer things that maybe aren't benefiting people or are using sales psychology, I'll call it dark sales psychology, to get you to buy something that is of low quality, it's not to the benefit of you at all. It's only to the benefit of the narcissistic influencer. And so as an influencer, it really allows you to honor, to not look for always the quick fix and the quick buck, but to make sure that everything you're formulating and delivering is of highest quality. I think that's very quintessential, and it's good to have mentors like AP who keep us accountable towards that. As we grow our following and are able to influence more people, we need to make sure that we keep this in the forefront of our teachings, of our services, and the things that we provide and offer to others.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and the like.
Okay, this is cool. So 60, 70, 77, 78.7, 78.7. So I can start saying nearly 80 million followers. That's insane. That's so cool. Congrats, AP. Let's keep expanding.
So not a day is there when we do not receive 5 emails requesting some slot on any of our social media.
This is why I like the idea of learning from AP privately and directly, rather than learning from AP to have a content piece to grow up my own brand. I think we're all a personal brand. I think we need to see ourselves as that. So this influencer thing is we're influencing people positively or negatively at all times. Obviously, if you're treating people right, you're influencing them to want to be your friend. If you're devaluing other people, you're influencing people to not be friends with you. This is part of interpersonal relationships. But I like this idea that, I don't think I'm in a place to reach out to AP yet. I'd really like to build a larger following, because here's the truth. If I have a larger following, it gives me more influence. It gives me more status. And the likelihood of him being messaged, his team being messaged with tons of inquiries of people wanting to have a conversation with him, it gives you more power. And again, that helps you, networking helps you build yourself It helps you get interconnected with people. Because I was in Hollywood for 8 years, I met a lot of successful people. And so, you want to try to network with other successful people to be put in movies or roles, or at least have the opportunity to audition for those roles and to book that film if you have the best performance and you're the best fit for the part. So these things are not terrible, but again, it comes down to intention. It comes down to intention of what these people truly want. Is it all about themselves, or is it really about having a genuine, real conversation that we feel can maximize our time? I believe when two people get together, it's like a mastermind, and it's something that you can't create between another person. Those two people merging together energetically creates a vortex of energy. And I believe that when AP and I get together, if I get big enough and he feels it's worth his time, that if we did do a podcast, that would have immense momentum to others. That would be the goal. The goal isn't to get popular. The goal is to learn, to ask the questions that I would love to ask him, and to deliver a successful conversation that many people can benefit from. Now, again, we are all narcissists. Is there a part of me in my brain that goes, well, how is that going to help my popularity? Yeah, there is, but that's not my primary objective or focus at all. It's kind of like, I'm going to tell this story, and I know everyone that watches these videos are more particularly interested in hearing what AP says, but there's something to give a translation or more collaboration through AP's teaching, and so that's what I provide. But when I was in high school, I didn't grow up with a father, and I had a high school football and basketball coach. He coached both sports because I came from a town of 1,000 people, and his name was Coach Davis. And I had like 3 or 4 stepdads, and no one stayed around, and so I had really low self-esteem issues. But as I went to 8th grade to 9th grade, Coach Davis was very hard on me, actually extremely hard on me. Would yell at me, it felt like every day. I could never do anything right. And I'm being exaggerative here, but at the same point, he would not take off the gas from me. And I learned later that he did that because he cared about me. He cared deeply about me. That man did more for me than any other man in my life. And so when we were doing our athletic banquet at the end of the year, I received many awards. I was the MVP of my basketball team. I led the team on football and tackles and this and that. I led the basketball team in points. So I was just going up, 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 getting all these awards more than anybody else. But I had it in my heart to do something that became the most significant. It was the height of human experience for me. I can't, even in starring my own film in Hollywood, it's called Almighty Thor. It was a sci-fi original movie. It aired to 1.7 million people on the Sci-Fi Channel. 12, 13 years later, you can still watch it on many streaming platforms out there. My point is, like, this small thing in my little small town, that whole thing that I did in Hollywood and reached that mountaintop for me and where I came from, that was super successful. Maybe I didn't star in a major blockbuster in a theatrical release, but that to me, that was like that was like the epitome of success for me. Didn't even compare it to this little moment in little old Sedan, Kansas. But Coach Davis, I told my mom I wanted to write something about Coach Davis and just say how much he did for me. And so the coordinator of this event, I just went up to her and said, I have something I want to read about Coach Davis, if I could just do that sometime in the banquet. She goes, oh yeah, no problem. I thought I'd have to explain myself more. She goes, yeah, no problem, anything, Cody, yeah. I'm like, cool. So as I'm being rewarded all these rewards, people are looking at you, you're being honored in front of the public that you are highly successful amongst all your peers. And that's not to say I'm superior. It was to go, I'm only this way because of this man. My mom is cool too. I mean, believe me, don't discredit my mom for anything. I mean, that woman was definitely the foundation for me. But I just went up there and I said, you, I grew up with with multiple father figures coming into my life, and I never had anything consistent. And I never had a father figure, and I believe that Coach Davis is representation of that for me. And he made me the athlete that I was. And I don't know why I'm getting emotional, but I couldn't even get out the words. Like, I stuttered every sentence. Like, if you think this is bad now, it was humiliating. I just felt so, like, embarrassed. It was like complete humiliation. It was only like 2 paragraphs long, but it felt like it lasted 5 minutes. And then when I got done, and I just wanted to honor this great man with there was nothing else in me. There was no benefit me to doing this. I was already being recognized for everything. I didn't need recognition or my time in the spotlight. It was pure 100,000% authentically for this man. And as I got done, I didn't want to look up because I was just humiliated. Bearing your heart out, your raw vulnerability. And people started clapping. I'm like, God, they're being sympathetic. That's really cool. And I'm like looking down, and then I finally look up, and everyone's standing up. They're just clapping and standing up. And I look around, and I see tears in so many people's eyes. And that was truly the most significant, poetic, metamorphic experience of my lifetime. And I think because it came from such a selfless intention. So I think this story is very resonant for this video because it shows intention. It shows exactly what we're looking for is what is people's true desire behind the actions of what they're influencing.
And the fellows are such idiots. They overestimate your foundation so much. One of them was prepared. Would you believe it? To pay $80,000 US dollars for a single post on our social media. I'm damn sure he would have received very feeble returns from his investment. But somehow people are foolish enough to think that your foundation is influential. And that the foundation will use its influence to make its followers buy deodorants.
He's got a great point here. AP has gratefully reposted 3 or 4 of my videos, reaction videos here on X, because I repost my content on X too, and I'm always grateful for it. And I'm always like, wow, that's so cool. I'm such a small channel, and he reposts me, and it's just that alone, it warms my heart, and it makes me feel validated, I guess. It's really nice. It feels very. I'm deeply grateful for it because in America, people don't do that. Like, they are very. This is like not judgmental, but very close-minded to unless you have a certain similar level of success. The majority of people that are successful in America, not someone who has this. I mean, it is very rare to have someone that number of followers want to support someone of low status. But I don't think that's what AP is about. He sees the value in the collaborations that we have, or at least his team does, and they go, this is something worthy to share because it highlights AP's teachings in a unique way. So we're going to share it. We don't care what value we get back. And that's the point. That's the point.
And not all of that has to be out in the open. You can sell in a very subtle way. You know, Acharya ji can come here and there can be some particular brand displayed here. Often I have to wear horrible outfits, particularly shirts, just because the one that I like has the name or the logo of the manufacturer prominently displayed here on the chest. Now, even if the shirt fits well and is very comfortable, I cannot wear it because I'm not supposed to bring ads to you. But that would be so easy, no? You all won't even realize it, that you have been unconsciously being indoctrinated.
Don't wear this brand. I got this at Ross at a very cheap discount store. I think it's a nicer brand. I don't know. I don't do brands. I think brands are absolutely no. But I love this. It just goes to, again, AP's care and how he's influencing you. Everything he's paying attention to. This is incredible. It's incredible.
Into buying a particular brand. One particular logo here. That's very common. You won't even blame me. You will say he is wearing a shirt. Can't even wear shirts now. That's what you become an influencer for. And these are small things, selling merchandise, no? At least 2 major political parties in India. 2024. They are behind your foundation. Behind your foundation, not in the sense of backing your foundation, in the sense of chasing your foundation. Please, please, somehow endorse us. Suddenly, some top leaders have become admirers of the Gita. Acharya ji, we want to learn Gita from you. So I said, you come over and learn Gita from me. He said, no, but the camera will be there, right? I said, what will you do with the camera? You want to learn the Gita? Come and learn the Gita. I'm all yours. He said, no, let there be a camera. I said, fine, there will be a camera. Maybe he wants to record it for future revision. I said, yes, there will be a camera. So he said, right, now you will upload that, right? I will ask you questions, you reply to me, and then you please upload it. I said, why do you want it to be uploaded? You want to learn the Gita? Why do you demonstrate it to the public?
Political affiliation, because of AP's mass influence, he is so intentioned on how that influence is going to affect his following. And so he knows that if he has a conversation with a political party or a person, a politician from a political party, they want to post that online because that shows complete endorsement. Even though AP may not even agree with him at all on any party affiliation, maybe AP is the opposite of his party. But just because he wants to teach the Gita, in being together, it influences his following to that political affiliation, even though that conversation had nothing to do with politics.
That's what you become an influencer for. Your foundation can easily get a lot of political backing.
I'm really glad I'm watching this because I am aware of things, but I haven't built my brand to a point where I'm getting offers for to share content in exchange for a monetary value or a product or a service or a brand or whatever. But it really makes me go that I have to make sure, and I would do this anyway, but again, it gives me crystal clear clarity that it better resonate with myself. I wish I was in a position to not have to take sponsorships or whatever, you know. I'm sure that time will come down the road. But to make sure that it is of highest value to my following. Because if someone offered you $80,000 to share a product, that would be damn hard to turn down. And most people would cuck, it's a word I use, it says cave in, give in against their own, I guess, integrity or values for money. And this just shows you why we like AP, why he's different. It's incredible.
People are meant to be sold. Followers are meant to be traded like sheep. I have 50 million followers. What do I do with them? I trade
78.
them. 50 million followers. What do I do with them? I trade them.
Oh, he's talking about someone else, like a hypothetical.
Just that when I meet them, I say, oh, mwah, I love you all. And then what do? I go and sell them behind their back. Narcissism is not something to be surprised by. Man's default state is of narcissism. Sir, what else can the ego possibly be? Who is the narcissist? He just keeps thinking of himself. And if you are afraid, what else will you do? You'll keep thinking of your own security. The ego, by definition, is a narcissist. Rare is the one who is not a narcissist. Just that some are openly narcissistic. The others pretend to be social creatures, social servants, amiable, altruistic. The ego cannot be altruistic. Impossible. If a fellow looks very generous without being self-aware, then that generosity is a facade behind which there would be loot and plunder.
Wow.
It's a good way, no? To enter somebody's home before ransacking it. Pretend that you are generous and are coming to give. He will open the doors. To me, it is a surprise that people are surprised when they see evil. I want you to be surprised so frequently that you cease being surprised. Because you don't know that you are evil, so you don't know that others are evil.
And that's the truth, is we are all capable of everything. And when we pretend that we aren't, we become... We don't see what other people might be doing. And this is a harsh reality of life. It really kills our childhood innocence because we really want people to be pure and honest and sincere. But the older I get, I turn 39 in 2 weeks, actually a little bit less now. But the more you see about the human condition and how people are influencing you and how many people don't have the purest of intentions. Even people who compliment you. Oh, wow, you're the most amazing person I've ever met. There's something very often in it for them. And so don't be surprised. But I think people who are truly have the right value-based system in their mental frameworks, they'll cut through the normal caution you have when it comes to other people. There's just a knowing that this person is of higher quality. Does that make sense? But many people are very charismatic and they could hide their intentions. And so AP is trying to give us wisdom and say, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled.
Three-quarters of all animals who...
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I know it was a long one, but I hope that there's been some great insights and strategies that have added value to your life. If you feel like I've earned it and not trying to influence you in a negative way, but it'd be great that I post a lot of AP videos here. So if you want to give me a follow, subscribe to the channel, I'd be honored. If you want to share this video, I would be honored. If you want to write a comment below and let me know how the video might have impacted you or AP's teachings might have impacted you, that helps push the algorithm, uses the algorithm to push this video out to many other people. I always appreciate any of those who comment. I do my absolute best to always get back to everybody, although I fail sometimes too. But I just want to make sure that you guys know I appreciate you. It doesn't go unnoticed. And I look forward to catching you guys on the next reaction video. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you next time. Take care, and bye-bye.